Alright, this is later than most people's, but this is my first half of the year, anticipated releases of 2022. This is my anticipated releases TBR. This isn't like stuff that like, oh, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to hear what people think. I have a different list for that I just have on my spreadsheet for when I'm going to do my like mini like what's the buzz on all these releases videos at the ends of the months. No, this is like I have asked for arcs from NetGalley. I have these books on my TBR because they're continuations and series that I love. These are the 18 books in the next 6 months that are coming out that I am so pumped for. Okay? Honorable mention, because I do not know when this book's coming out. It's supposed to come out in January 25th, but like there's no cover art. I can't purchase it anywhere, so I don't know if it's happening. But the minute the new Karen Lord book drops, I care about it, okay? I care about the Blue Beautiful World. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But that's not on this list just because like I really don't know where it's at in production. I have no clue where it is. It's a little weird to me that it's coming out in 2 weeks and there's no cover art, so yeah, well, 2 weeks from when I'm filming this. 1 week from when you're seeing this, probably. But we'll get through the rest. I'll mention when I do have arcs, if I'm waiting to hear about arcs, or if I'm just pre-ordering them. I'll let you know. And I'll give you what I know about them to the best of my ability. But for the most part, I'll just tell you why they ended up on this TBR. Starting with one that I've actually already read, and I'm going to do a review eventually, but that's Goliath by Tochi Onyebuchi. This comes out in end of January, I believe, January 25th. I will put as up-to-date US release dates on the screen as I can, but just know everything's in flux. The month is probably right for most of these, but the dates, who knows? But Goliath is a literary sci-fi that takes place in a near-future 2050s Earth, where because of catastrophe, people typically live in the colonies, but some people still live on an Earth that is very hard to live on. It has a lot of radiation. It is not amazing. And it's about this time where people from the colonies are starting to return to the Earth. It is a very fragmented, non-linear story, and I have such mixed feelings about it. If this is your first time seeing my channel, then you've missed 2 other videos where I've just like gone through a roller coaster of like not liking this book to being obsessed with this book. Like I don't understand where I'm at. But this is definitely a sci-fi book that should be on your radar if you really like dense literary sci-fi that's really thematically heavy, that it's not about the plot, it's not about the people, it's about the atmosphere, the world building, the themes of it all. If that's like a lot of your sci-fi buzzwords, you need to check this out. It is very well crafted. So that's one that I've actually read. But the next one on my list is Hunt the Stars. This got on my radar because in my Discord, I made a anticipated releases channel that everyone just posted stuff in because I wanted to have stuff on my radar for when I did my my radar videos, whatever I'm going to call that series, which it doesn't have a name yet. But this one is supposed to be, I think, a sci-fi romance. And I have an arc for this, and I'm really excited because I do like romance speculative fiction. I have a lot of fun with those. So hopefully this author has a style I really like. And like they told me already straight up in the description, this is a sci-fi romance, so I'm hoping that the plot is fun enough, but that the romance is where it delivers. I don't know much else. Other than that, it comes out, I think, early February, so that's also perfect for, like, Valentine's Day moods and all the things like that. Another one I'm really excited for that I have an arc for, and I hope I can read it before it comes out. We'll see. My life is chaos, but this is Reclaim the Stars. This is edited by Zoraida Cordova, and the project of this anthology is having different authors from different Latinx diasporas telling stories. I don't know if the stories themselves have a theme, but specifically this is a collection written by authors in the diaspora from Latin American countries, and I am so pumped for this work. A lot of my favorite authors are in this collection, and then there's new authors for me to explore, but like Anna Marie McLemore's in here, Marco Chiru's in here. I don't know if Zoraida Cordova wrote a story herself, but I know she edited it, so maybe she has an introduction for me to read. So this is I have this on my NetGalley TBR. I'm excited to read it. The next one I wasn't even going to put on my list. I was not intrigued by the cover. I didn't think it would be for me, but then I just heard enough hype that I just asked for an arc. So if I don't like this book, I am blaming Twitter 100%, and that's The Justice of Kings. But I have heard so many 5-star reviews at this point of this book that I'm like, well, I gotta see what it's about. Now that said, I don't know a lot about it. I think it's this dude who's like judge, jury, executioner vibes, and I think it's a low magic fantasy. That's all I know. Literally, it's just because it's been getting so much positive buzz on the internet that I'm like, okay, maybe I'll like it. Maybe I should look into it. So I kind of just put in a request for an arc, and here it is. So hopefully I like it. Otherwise, I am blaming all of you on Twitter for misleading me. Granted, could I read a synopsis? Could I look into in-depth reviews? Maybe, but did I? No. So it's probably more my fault. But the next one I don't have an arc for. This is just I'm going to buy it when it comes out, and it's called House of Sky and Breath. I never know what the names of these books are. This is a Sarah J. Maas book. It's the sequel to House of Earth and Blood. I don't know if I'll read it in February, but I'm reading it. I'm reading it in the first half of the year, depending on when the mood strikes me. I have to be in a very specific mood for Sarah J. Maas, and normally it's not a great mood. Normally I'm like depressed and needs like candy, because it's just really easy reading for me, and I am interested. This world is more interesting to me than her other worlds. I do like Bryce, our main character. I like the cast of characters in general. None of it's really like, it's not groundbreaking for Sarah J. Maas. Like, these are just reiterations of characters I've seen her use before in Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. But I like how she's fit it together. This new configuration is interesting. So I'm excited to see what happens next. Another one by an author I've read before and I don't have an arc for. Actually, they declined me, but I'm still going to read it, and that's Bitter. This is the sequel, but prequel to Pet by Koike Emezi, a young adult novel that I love. This is about Jam's mother, Bitter. So in the first book, Pet, we follow Jam in a basically utopian society, and she summons a monster, and they have to go monster hunting. It's about, and then monsters are not actually monsters, they're like problems in society and things like that. It's a really great story. I really loved it. And Bitter is about her mother, who was part of the revolution that set up the utopia. So I'm really interested in that. I love the covers for both of these books, so I cannot wait for it to come out. I believe that's also a February release. Up in March, we have All the Horses. Again, this is a book that I only found out about because of my Discord. This cover is stunning. That's the first thing. I hope I love this book so I can buy it, because I have an arc of this. So this is an arc that I will be reading, and it's about the horses in Iceland. It's written by a Canadian poet, and it looks like it's going to be a very lyrical, literary fantasy book. I do not know where the fantasy portions come in, so I'm going into it with the expectations of relatively light fantasy, and I don't know what these horses in Iceland even mean. Like, I don't know the historical context, but I think this is also potentially lightly historical fantasy. The cover is just so pretty. Like, I just really want to read it. So that's why it's on the list. Another March release is Lake Lore by Anna Marie McLemore. I love Anna Marie McLemore, or at least I think I love their works. I've read one work. I really liked it. And this one's about two non-binary characters who are in a lake. I don't know if they fall in love. I don't know if they're just like existing. I don't know the plot. But I'm always big on reading more works by trans authors, and especially with trans characters. So this had to be on the list. And I also, again, this cover is very pretty. Like, it's really nice. I think all of Anna Marie McLemore's covers are just stunning in different ways. Another one that like is not like my normal thing, but I'm excited to try it out, is Wild and Wicked Things. Another one that got put on my radar because of my Discord. This is a male-male romance, I think kind of Regency? I don't know. It reminds me of like Jane Austen Victorian vibes based off the description, but I don't know if I have the right setting. It's a marriage of convenience, but also I think he's worried about marrying the wrong person because of his like sexual orientation, and I think also there's a lot of like, we need to be allies because we are in over our heads situation going on. So I'm excited for it. Like, I think this is gonna have some good vibes. So we'll see how it goes. This was another one I kept seeing on social media in addition to my Discord, which is why I requested an arc. So I have an arc to read for that. The next one's one that I heard about on Books and Lala's channel specifically when she did her anticipated releases, and this one actually got on my list, and it's In a Garden Burning Gold. This is another story that seems to have sibling energy, and I am big on sibling energy for some reason. Like, I love platonic, strong relationships, and I think that was something she said while talking about the synopsis or buzzwords, and that's why I picked it up. It's also a relatively short one, and so it was just one of those ones I'm like, I don't see a lot of people talking about this one on their anticipated releases. It's a fantasy. I think it has some tropes I might like, so that's why it's on the list. This next one is Jade Setter of John Loon by Fonda Lee. I'm very excited. I have not purchased the Subterranean Press edition because it's $40. Excuse me. No. I can't do that. That's so much money. I mean, I love the Greenbone Saga, but I didn't even get the Illumicrate. And if I was going to get special editions, I would have gotten the Illumicrate. So I'm happy to have an arc to read, and then I can actually make, though, a Greenbone Saga series review with Jade Legacy and this book. It makes me excited as just like a content creator. So I have access to this. I know it's a prequel to the series. I think it's like 5 or 10 years before the events of Jade City. We'll see what happens. And then we've got Fevered Star. I don't have an arc of this. They haven't rejected me yet, but they haven't accepted me yet. And I'm like, guys, come on. But regardless, even if I didn't get an arc, I will get myself a copy because I do have the first book. I think it's right there. So I am someone who doesn't love but does not hate this cover. I don't have the hatred for this cover that most people do. I don't think it's as pretty as the first book, but I think it's completely fine. And I really need this book. It's the sequel to Black Sun, which I am very vocal in that I do not like the execution of the ending of. I like the first 80% quite a bit, and then that ending is just very fast. I don't even know if that's even the right word. It like happens so concisely. It's a very concise ending. Like the climactic moment we're building up to just like, it goes. And I really hope we get maybe different angles, or we get to spread it out a bit more in this sequel. I want to know what happened. I want to understand what happened at the end of this book, but I also want to see what's happening with the characters we were introduced to. I really like this world. I want to know the implications of what happened. Like, I want to know what's happening. So that's why I'm excited for the Fevered Sun. Okay, this next one I think's pronounced Kaikei. I could be wrong, but this is one of those stories that got on my radar because I think it's supposed to be like a retelling vibes, like mythological retelling story. Maybe not mythological, but maybe a historical retelling or something. Something like Hamnet or Circe or Song of Achilles, but for a different region of the world. I can't remember the exact country, but I really like this cover, and I love stories like that. So it got put on my radar pretty much because of Tammy, I think. She was talking about it on Twitter. And so I'm like, what is this about? And I looked into it, I'm like, ooh, that sounds really cool. I like this type of premise. And I went on NetGalley, and I've asked for an arc, and they have not said yes or no. But if it's a yes, I'll read it. I mean, I'll probably read it regardless if it gets good buzz. But if I get an arc, I'll for sure make it a priority. Next up is Siren Queen by Nevo. This will be the first novel I've read by Nevo. I've read their novellas in the Singing Hills series, and I really like them. I think they're really fun. I did not read The Chosen and the Beautiful because Great Gatsby is completely fine. It's just that's not a selling point for me. That wasn't like a buzzword that got me to go like, yes, I want to read this book. This one's also, I think, a lower fantasy sort of story that is centered more on the golden age of Hollywood, and I get Marilyn Monroe vibes, but with some like blood deals magic sort of thing, and that intrigues me because that type of stuff sounds like it could be very engaging and unsettling in some really cool ways. So I have an arc of that comes out, I don't know, it's on the screen. I think May, but I could be wrong, so trust the screen and not what I say. Another one that's coming out, I think, in May is Seasonal Fears by Seanan McGuire, the sequel to Middle Game. More like a companion novel, probably, but regardless, more stuff in Middle Game. I'm nervous because the thing I love about Middle Game probably won't be in the sequel, which is Roger and Dodger and how they kept finding and not finding each other. It's like my favorite thing about Middle Game. But I'm intrigued by the world, and the cover's really pretty. So I don't know actually what this goes into specifically because this is one of those I don't need to be told more buzzword sort of situations for me as a reader. This is one that I will pick up. Like I've already purchased, I think it's over here somewhere, Middle Game, so that I can get Seasonal Fears and like have the collection. So this is one that I'll probably pre-order or pick up at my local bookstore once it comes out. This next one I know very little about, but it intrigues me, and that's The Hacienda, and that means ranch, if you do not know, and this is marked as a fantasy horror by a Latinx author. And so I put it on my list because I've been liking fantasy horror more, and this intrigues me, and the cover is really cool. Are these good reasons to put things on a list? I don't know, but it's on my list now, and I've also requested an arc. But I think I'll look into this one, or at least the buzz for this one, regardless of if I get an arc or not, but it's very much on my radar, and I'm really interested in it. And the last one is another one that I'm just like going to go pick up as soon as I can. That's the third book in the Founders series. This comes out in June. This is Lachlan's. This is the end. I need to know. I need to know what's happening. Because the end of Shorefall, is the end of a second book in a series, which if you've read many trilogies, sometimes you don't get to be left off at a good point at the second book in a series. Sometimes you're just like, what? And that's how I felt. So I'm really excited to get Lachlan's, to finally see how I feel about the entire trilogy, which for me has just been like a really fun time so far, but nothing that's like been like super deep, just like a very pleasurable experience, like solid 4.5-star series so far. So those are the 18 books. Those are the things. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Like, it's so hard because sometimes I try really hard to like write things down the minute I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited about that. But we'll see. And like I said, for sure, that Karen Lord book, I will be buying it the moment it is available. I will be doing that. I hope the cover's pretty. I just want to know what the cover looks like. Why won't you tell me? Is this book still happening? What's going on? But let me know what are your most anticipated releases. For sure, feel free to go to my Discord and put it there as well, because I do have a spreadsheet going of like a bunch of anticipated releases for when I do my monthly like wrap-up videos. That's how I've been like gathering buzz about things people are interested in so that I make sure I cover those books when I do those videos. So you can do that here, but if you do it in the Discord, I will for sure catalog it and things like that. And if you want to leave an emoji, I don't know. There's a lot of water-related stuff on this list, I feel. Maybe I'm making that up, but put something water-related as your emoji if you just would like to leave an emoji to let me know you're here. And like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.